Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, dating, game, everything in between. I got a good one for you today. I got a reoccurring theme, at least over here in the Western world, where we synonymize degenerate behaviors with positive times. I'm talking about your partner. You meet a new girl, you've been dating someone for some time, or so on and so forth, and she likes to go out and drink. For the sake of the conversation, we'll talk about without you, because you might not necessarily be too into that. You might be a grown man who has got better things to do. And the woman likes to go out and socialize with her friends and have a few drinks at the bar and whatnot and have a good time, right? Some would say it was inappropriate, whereas some women who have been empowered in the sense that they like what they do and they do what they like will say, it's not the 1960s, you can't control me. And maybe I put my friends before you anyway. You can't get between me and my friends. My friends will stay here whether you're here or not. And so on and so forth. Whichever argument you choose, right? Which I'm not to dispute that. So we're going to talk about your missus going out and drinking and just engaging in these environments, maybe being a little bit of a social butterfly and so on and so forth. I'm going to equate it to a story I saw unfold before me within these particular environments. So you know who she is as you maneuver your way through the initial dating period, okay? There are going to be some facets of her shadow you don't necessarily see maybe until years on in, right? Repressed deep down within her, aspects of her character and psyche that just don't manifest until, they want to come about. That's fine. But something such as her going out and engaging in these social communities and conventions and so forth is something you should be pretty well aware of, pretty soon, right? It's a part of her pattern, and you as a pattern recognizing mammal of such should naturally understand who she is and what she does without much conscious energy diminished whatsoever. So if you share the same personality traits as her and you like to go out as well, maybe you can cohabitate these spaces and go out together and enjoy these times together, right? I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not that sort of person. I personally see such environment as problematic, full stop. As far as pursuing a purpose and becoming a somebody, you're not necessary. It's going to be the contrary to that, right? So, and I'm speaking in regards to particular environments, not like you're going and having a glass of wine with the Illuminati, right? So, men will say, oh, I don't like it when she goes out and blah de blah. And they won't say anything about it. First and foremost, you can't if that's in her nature, because if you try to rid of something that makes her her, it is going to manifest elsewhere and the energy will still remain the same. It will be negative to negative, right? You're not going to turn removing what you perceive as a negative in a character. You're not going to be able to take that negative, get rid of it, and have it appear as a positive, have it manifest elsewhere and transmutate into a positive. It's not going to work. Negative turns to negative, positive turns to positive. It's 50-50. We have to learn to agree with each other's ups and downs, right? It's the duality of that which is. So you disagree with it, and you can't speak on it. And you might speak to the common man who has been effeminized by the reality TV programs and the programming of the television programming. And he might tell to you, no, bro, you can't tell her what to do and all this and that. But Captain Save-A-Ho, this guy gets no girls. This is an archetype of man that gets no girls because this man is spineless. This man is spineless, and he abides by the feminine narrative, the gynocentric narrative, that you can't have some degree of control over your reality, your communications, and your partner, right? That's controlling, bruh. She should have just as much control over you. I want her to control me to the degree where I become a better man, right? That's fine. I'm all ears. We're supposed to communicate. We're supposed to enhance each other's reality. So, she goes out into these environments. These are low frequency environments. Drinking alcohol is low frequency. It's toxic. It harms your brain. It destroys your body. It's full of sugar. Other people who drink in these environments aren't working, aren't praying to God Almighty, aren't with the family, aren't establishing momentum in a productive sense. They're out destroying themselves under the guise of celebration, you see? And I'm not talking about the ones who go out there and do it negatively, although it is negativity and self-hatred disguised as positive outlet. Oh, I've just worked 5 days straight at work. I hate my job. I'm going to go celebrate because it's the weekend by self-harming, by intoxicating myself, destroying my body and feeling horrible for it tomorrow. And we perceive that as a good thing. Look at how the world tricks us. And I'm not somebody who is in disagreement with alcohol. I think we've all got a vice or so, but the way it's portrayed and the way it's advertised isn't what it is, right? So she engages with these low frequency people in this low frequency environment. And when we speak of frequencies, we speak of vibrations. What else resides in these bars and clubs she attends? Music, vibration. This vibration has been fine-tuned to bring you down, to have you acting up. That's a story for another time, but everything is vibration. Music, when you tune an instrument, you are tuning the way as to which it vibrates, right? So whenever you hear someone goes about elevating my frequency and stuff like that, perceive it as such. Maybe you should have a look at the particular frequencies that reside in the central standard of pop music and so on and so forth. Why would they want to bring you up? They want to entrap you. So she attends these spaces. Now, she's going to get hounded. And she's going to come back to you and say, no, I'm with you, I'm blah, 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 blah. The thing is, my brother, the thing is, you're not 10 out of 10. There's no such thing. She's gone out there. Her friends are on the same frequency as her. You judge her by the people she is around. That which they believe in, she more than likely believes in as well, because otherwise it would cause so much of a conflict they wouldn't be friends. So she's engaging with other like-minded women who are there. Do you think 5 out of 5 of these women who have come together to engage and get drunk around men to provocative music, do you not think them dressing up and saying, oh, do you think we dress up for men? No, you dress up for women because you feel a biological competitive anxiety to not be deemed as lesser value to these women in the eyes of who could be a potential suitor. Look up competition anxiety. I'm putting you on game here. And then a man does not even have to speak. He He quite simply stands beside her at the bar. He's got a Rolex on. That's it. That's it. Your general man doesn't. She, by default, now perceives him as somebody who may have something she needs, and that is resource. Whereas we perceive fertility as beauty and attractive in the woman perceives resource as enticing and attracting to her. You're staying at home believing that, you know, she goes out there and she shuts her biological mechanism off. No, she doesn't. She can hope that's the case, but it's not the case. It's not the reality. There is a biological pull to that which will make your life and your future children's life better. I know someone, and I'll keep this vague. So, I know someone who's a good girl, yeah, and she had no restrictions on her relationship, and generally speaking, she was respectful and well behaved. Yes, she had a long-term boyfriend. I don't know what she's saying now, but she did have a long-term boyfriend. Perhaps it still is a thing. Now, in this particular social group, she would always be around someone we knew and she knew was very well interested in her. And every time she would come out, he would try run game. He had more than her boyfriend. He was blessed, right? He would always run game. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. This is pimping. This is the pimp game. Over there in America, they've got what they call the blade, yeah? That's why these hoes walk up and down. These prostitutes, these streetwalkers, right? And a pimp will drive up there. Oi, 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 oi. Start running verbal game on these hoes, right? The moment they give that pimp attention, he knows that she's out of pocket. He can move in. He can start to maneuver within her psyche. But each and every day he drives up and down. And he berates the person she's with. And he speaks in such a manner through a psychological prowess that she can't help but start to become fascinated by this man. If you consistently allow your woman to be in the lion's den, what do you think is going to happen? Huh? You love your partner so much, yeah? What happens when you go out with the boys and you pick a celebrity of your choice, some elevated being comes onto you? She doesn't need celebrity, she needs resource. But I'm amplifying this to the degree where I say everybody cheats. And you might say, no, I don't, blah, 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 blah. Fair play to you, because I respect an honest man. But they catch you at the right time, in the right place, especially whilst you're intoxicated, and you feel you can get away with it. A lot of men will be silly. And they've gone out of their way to make themselves vulnerable. Why is she making herself vulnerable? You can't change this. In hypnosis and in the world of affirmations, repetition creates results. In the gym, repetition creates results. In education, research and learning creates results over an extended period of time as you establish consistency. This guy's running game on this guy's girlfriend over and over and over. And she stood there and soaked it in. What's she going to do? If she falls out with him, she's probably going to fall out with the entire friendship group. She doesn't want to be ostracized. Women don't want to be ostracized way more than men. She doesn't want to die a social death. And yeah, she's not going to do anything. She's going to go back to hubby at home. But who knows what she's been told whilst in this environment? And she may not have consciously perceived it. If she is under the influence, she may wake up not remembering what had been said, but her subconscious mind that has had to absorb that information for survival protocol has. Is there a lesson to be learnt? No, there's just food for thought. I'm signing out. Peace.